Good afternoon. My name is Athena Seymour. I'm the Youth Development Specialist for the Keller District. I'd like to read you guys the debate rules so you're aware. So we'll start with the time limit. Each candidate will have a set time for opening statements, responses, and closing remarks. A time clock will be visibly displayed in front of the candidates, and a second will be displayed in view of the audience. Response to questions are 2 minutes per question. Closing statements will be 2 minutes. Moderation. A designated moderator will facilitate the debate, ensuring fair and orderly discussions. The moderators have the authority to enforce rules and maintain decorum. Question format. Candidates will be given equal opportunity to respond. No direct rebuttals unless specified by the moderator. Conduct. Candidates must remain respectful and professional. Personal attacks, interruptions, or inflammatory language will not be tolerated. Repeated violations may result in a time deduction or removal from the debate. Audience participations. The audience is encouraged to attend and listen but must remain respectful. No disruptions, shouting, or commentary during candidates' response. So I'm going to hand the mic to Karina for an opening prayer, and then we will proceed to the Youth Council introducing themselves, and then they will hand it over to the CBC candidates to introduce themselves.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm happy to see both candidates present. I just want to pray today that we have a good heart and good mind as we go forward with our candidate forum, and that these two young ladies have a good experience through this whole forum. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carmen Thomas Turner. I am on the Youth Council for the Nispilum District as the president. I am a CCT member, and I am a junior at Lake Roosevelt High School.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Jocelyn LeBro. I am a junior at Wilbur Creston Keller High School. I'm the vice president representing the Keller District Youth Council. Okay, and I would like you, Faith, for you to introduce yourself first. Would you please introduce with your name, your tribe, and the position you're running for?
Hi, my name is Faith Zachary Tenasket. I reside in Keller, Washington. I'm running for position number 1. I'm a Sinixt Okanagan tribal member.
Thank you. Now I'd like to hear from Patrick, your name, your tribe, and the position you're running for.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Patrick Tenasket. Arrow Lakes, Sample, and Okanagan bands, and I'm running for Keller position number 1.
Okay, we want to give you a warm-up question. You will each have 30 seconds to answer. What would be in your council starter pack if you get elected? For example, Carmen and Jocelyn said in their starter pack they'd want a ribbon skirt, Indian taco, Red Bull, their native blankets from the trading post, and an eyelash curler. We can go with Patrick first.
All right, since I was already unmuted, sorry about that. So my starter pack, holy moly, I think I would need some ramen noodles and a couple new hats. Just a sec, sorry. I'm not in a very good part of town. I get people coming and knocking on the window. Okay, they're gone. Need a couple new hats because my hair is kind of messy. New big old beaded medallions. Nah, I don't wear those. Need anything else?
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, Faith, moving on to you. What would be in your starter pack?
A ribbon skirt, big auntie earrings, some herbal tea, and all my stuff for smudging.
Thank you both. Okay, so we are going to get started with the questions. This first question is for you, Faith. You'll have 2 minutes to address it. So the first question is, what are your plans to address substance abuse issues that impact our youth and families?
Oh, this is a good one. Substance abuse is really, really a big important factor for me. My family has had substance abuse issues. I've had family members go in and out of treatment. I think we need to start at home. Like, we need families to start going back to our cultural ways and practices, because that's where it does start from, is at home, and learning how to carry on your traditions and cultures. And then having treatment centers, not just for adults, but for our youth, with wraparound services. So when they do leave the treatment center, they have a good place to go. That's what's really important to me, is that so many go back into active addiction because they don't have the proper care after they get out. And then it's centered in culture. I love the treatment center. I think I love everything that it stands for. I'm glad it's there, but we need more that goes along with it. And I think that starts at home with our families.
Yes, agreed. Okay, so Patrick, we'll be moving on to you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Same question?
Yeah, it's the same question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and repeat it.
What are your plans to address substance abuse issues that impact our youth and families?
Okay, so I think substance abuse is phases or stages or aspects of it. So I would like to start with the youth, and the North Star initiative that we're working on right now is a good example of positive ways to keep children out. So prevention is probably the best way to stop the cycle, stop the abuse, stop them from even doing it in the first place. And one of the tactics of that is to have a lot more activities, a lot more things for the kids to be able to do to keep them out of trouble, keep them off drugs, keep them out of the streets, positive activities, bringing cultural activities back is good as well. I didn't get to grow in a cultural environment, and so I would really like it if my children's children are able to get back and do a lot more cultural activities. For those that are already into drugs or into substance abuse, the treatment facilities are good, but it all starts with themselves. They have to want to do it. So mentoring, counseling, looking at how we get these individuals to actually want to come forward and want to change their lives. And then after the fact, like after they get out, there does need to be safe space for them to get into. They can't come back and get in the exact same environment that they were in before. They'll get right back in, or there's a higher chance or potential that they'll get back into it. That's good.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, I will be handing it off to Carmen for the next question.
Patrick, I would like for you to answer first. What have you done for the youth? What are your plans for the youth? And what resources do you commit to advocate for if you get elected?
What have I done for the youth? What do I plan to do for the youth? And what resources to allocate? Is that correct?
Yes.
So personally, I'm not an education and employment guy. I'm not a youth counselor. So I participate, secondarily or ancillary mostly. I participate in committees. We look at when people come in with proposals on activities they want to do, and I support it that way. I'm not I'm not the guy that's going and actually doing these things. And so I'm just gonna be honest there. I do have 3 daughters, and I have participated a lot in sports activities for them and their teams and their schools, and uh, different activities, not just sports, but sorry. And one thing I'd like to do is get the Inchman Summer Youth Camp back up and running. We shut that down a long time ago. We just hadn't had any funding or any staff for that. But my children participated in that, and I actually did go there and help and play around with them. And it was a really good time. It was very positive, and it was very unique for our area. We had children that came from Welpenick, Spokane res. We had kids from all over our res, and that's something that I would really like to focus and try and get that back up.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay. So for our third question, it is going. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
What have you done for the youth? What are your plans for the youth? And what resources do you commit to advocate for if you get elected?
What have I done for the youth? So, for the past 5 years, I fundraise and I get stockings for all the kids in Keller. That's a really big thing that I love doing. It's always I do it for all ages from birth to 18. I do a lot of fundraising for like the Tree of Sharing. I take a lot of youth. We're doing coming of age, so I take a lot of youth to our traditional territories in Canada to do hunting and fishing and gathering. I also bring them up to the canoe journey every year. I'm getting more and more kids every year, and I love that. I'm heavily involved with the canoe families. It's something that me and my kids enjoy doing. I would love to get Keller more involved, getting our own logs and working with the Boys and Girls Club, and having a sandpoil canoe and having that on the waterways. I think that would be really cool. Um, and then for what initiatives it's just more bringing more stuff to Keller. I mean, we don't have very many kids, and there isn't really much to do for anybody to do. So having, I don't know, more gathering classes. I love doing classes at the community center with the plant medicines. I think learning all that kind of stuff is really important, and I would like to bring all of that back to the community.
Okay. Thank you both. And now I'm going to give it back to Jocelyn.
Okay, so now it is time for our third question. This is going to be for Faith. How would you advocate for tribal sovereignty in partnerships with federal and state governments?
I think it's building those relationships. It's creating partnerships with other tribes and becoming self-sufficient, especially under.
Sorry, Faith. Your Zoom is cutting out and we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Okay, there we go. Would you repeat that, please?
Yeah, it's just creating partnerships with other tribes and other leaders. It's really important. Under the new administration, things are going to get harder, and we need strong voices in there that are going to step up and say that that's not okay, and be present.
Okay. So now I will be moving on to Patrick. Patrick, would you like me to repeat the question?
Sure.
Okay. So how sorry. How will you advocate for tribal sovereignty in partnerships with federal and state governments?
So tribal sovereignty is it's the basis of our existence, I guess. So sovereignty is the right and the ability to govern ourselves. And some of the issues that we have with sovereignty is within law enforcement. Um, Law enforcement is very convoluted, and the jurisdiction is complex. Like we don't have jurisdiction over non-tribal members on trust lands within the boundaries of the reservation. So that means that non-Indians can come on the reservation, commit crimes, and we can't really enforce our laws. We have to rely on the state and the federal government. There's been a lot of work done in the past probably decade to rectify that. Tribal Law Enforcement Parity Act and a few others that are starting to move forward or move towards tribes being able to protect ourselves and protect our people from this. But that's an act of sovereignty. Child Indian Welfare Act is another act that strengthens tribal sovereignty. It protects our children from being taken away from tribal families and placed outside of the reservation so they don't grow up with us. Natural resource issues. The Columbia River flows from so working with protecting our sovereignty or pushing our sovereignty, I should say. We work with the state and the federal agencies on keeping the water clean. I'm out of time.
Thank you, Patrick, and also thank you, Faith, both of you, for your responses. I will be passing it to Carmen for the next question.
For the next question, I would like Patrick to answer first. What strategies do you propose for improving healthcare services on the reservation?
So currently we have 4 clinics. The one in Omak is not that great. I guess it's pretty tiny. We're building a brand new one over there though. We have a clinic in Nispelem, and then we have 2 community health centers, one in Nispelem, one in Keller. We're working on a 638 process where we're going to 638 the Nispelem clinic, because right now it's a direct service, and the Omak clinic. So we're going to utilize IHS funding to staff those clinics. I'm not sure exactly if they're going to be community health centers also, so we can also take advantage of the HRSA funding. But either or, we're going to have my cut now. Either or, we're going to have more health centers across the reservation, and we're going to have more control over it through the 638 process, where it'll be tribal facilities and not IHS facilities. We've been working on PRC issues that we've been having with IHS and people's bills not getting paid. Those referrals are getting prioritized, and they're getting caught up, and so our people are getting the referrals that they need. They're being able to go out and see specialists, and the bills are starting to get paid. It's been a systemic issue that the bills just haven't been getting paid. People have been getting sent to collections, and nobody should be going to collections for things that they need to survive.
Okay, thank you. Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
What strategies do you propose for improving healthcare services on the reservation?
I'm a birth worker as profession. Part of my job is working with Department of Health in all avenues around maternal health. I think that we need, along with the clinics, we need birth centers. A lot of times, a lot of our Native women won't go to hospitals or won't go to those appointments due to having trauma at border hospitals. So they're not getting the health care that they need. And that's really important. It's really important for our moms to see midwives or doctors or whatever they need to make sure that their babies are healthy. and we don't have that. So that's a really big priority for me. And then just addressing, like Pat was saying, with the medical, like the POs and stuff, that is a big issue because I've had problems with that myself. And it's just getting that fixed. Um, and they've got a good start, like building the new clinics and everything. So I think the council's doing a really good job at what they're doing right now.
Okay, thank you both. I will be giving it back to Jocelyn for the next question.
Okay, so this question is going to be for you, Faith. How do you plan to address housing shortages and affordability issues on the reservation?
So I'm a strong advocate for tiny homes. We've got lots of land throughout our homelands. I think tiny homes, little communities would be really beneficial for single family homes. And then just finding the proper resources for more housing, because it definitely is needed. Our communities are growing, especially Keller. And we always have shortages of housing. So it's just finding more grant funding, and then, property wise, doing tiny homes.
Thank you, Faith. Okay, Patrick, would you like me to repeat the question?
Sure, I gotta make you work.
How do you plan on addressing housing shortages and affordability issues on the reservation?
Okay, so I put housing in like three subsections. We have our low income housing, we have our mid income or working class housing, and then we have our professional housing. Uh, to define professional housing to me, it's more of temporary housing or professional staff that we're trying to recruit. So housing is one of the major issues that we have for recruiting for upper level positions or really any positions. But so when we built the treatment center, we built 14 homes to go with the treatment center. And those were supposed to be recruiting mechanisms that we could get in the professionals that we needed to make that work. We're going to have similar issues and situations with the clinics, doctors, nurses. We have a similar situation with the EMS staff. But we have a lot of shortages of professional people throughout the reservation, throughout the organization. So on the low income housing, we have HUD. HUD, they do an all right job on putting up developments. For the mid income housing, we're looking at developing a few homes with the 184 HUD one process. So the tribe can take out loans, there's low interest, guaranteed loans through 184 process, and we can build homes and then we can sell those homes. Because I believe that home ownership is a big deal. Like when you own your house versus renting your house, you are more likely to take care of it, more likely to keep it up, kept and clean and nice, and it just makes you feel better when you own something. And equity is one of the main growers of wealth that we have in this country. So for us to be able to build those homes and sell, I'm out of time.
Yes, you are. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Faith, for both of your guys' response. I'm going to pass it to Carmen to ask you the next question.
Patrick, I would like for you to answer first. What steps will you take to improve transparency and communications between the council and the community members?
This one's tough. Like I thought that it was going to be super easy, but we're just going to talk and everything's going to be cool. But so we do hold district meetings once a month. They're not very well attended. So in Keller, like in other districts, they have a Zoom link that people from anywhere can just hop on and Zoom in. I'd like to implement that. Right now, we don't have the technology in the Keller Community Center, but that's coming. So that'll be one. I think that'll help. is if we had a Zoom link option for the membership to participate in the district meetings. And then I would like more feedback, but it's the difficulty for me is just reaching out. How do I get the attention of the district and have them give me feedback on what they want to hear? What topics do they want to talk about? What do they want to see? And I'm a little bit older. I'm not a social media guy. That would be helpful. Maybe I'll get a college kid or something to help me make some social media outlets because I'm not that guy. But other than that, I don't know. I'll look for any advice on how to reach out and how to communicate. Like I got nothing to hide. I got nothing that I don't want to talk about because I don't know how to get it out there. So I'm always open to suggestions.
Okay,
That's
thank you. Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I got it. Mine would be I like transparency and I like to see it myself. So for myself, it would be through writing an article through the Tribune or posting on social media because it always ends up reaching out to the community, or just talking to people in general. I feel like a Zoom link would be awesome for Keller also because a lot of times the community does miss those meetings because we work different shifts. So a lot of times, a lot of us miss those. And they're super important to be able to be a part of.
Okay, thank you both. I'll be giving it back to Jocelyn for the next question.
Hi guys. Okay, this question is gonna be for Patrick. How do you plan to address issues related to crime and public safety?
So crime and public safety, the majority of the crimes that I'm witnessing or I'm seeing are related to drug activity, mostly what I'm seeing. So a little bit about our police department and our courts. So the police department, even though it's a BIA function and it's a BIA responsibility to provide funding for law enforcement, they provide maybe a third of our funding, and the tribe provides the other 2/3. So one of the things that we've been trying to do is really lobby for more funding from the federal government to offset some of the tribal costs, because there's a lot of things that we could do with that money aside from fulfilling the government's responsibility.
Patrick? Oh, sorry, my mic cut out. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, now moving on to Faith.
I was moving on to the
Okay.
courts. I still got a minute. Sorry. So in the court system, we've been really trying to, I guess, streamline or get more, how do I say, faith, more, drawing a blank, but I guess more faith in the system. Like I heard a lot before, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, I've never been through the court system. I've never been in any trouble, so I don't really know. But after I got elected, I got a lot of calls and a lot of complaints about people getting lost or people getting unfair treatment. And if it's true, it's not true. There's a perception out there, anyways, and perception, a lot of times, if it's not addressed, turns into reality. And so we've been working pretty hard on trying to get more faith into the system, more faith into the courts, and getting all stuff there.
Thank you. Sorry for cutting into your time, Patrick. So Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. How do you plan to address issues related to crime and public safety?
We live in a small enough community. We need to start just addressing it at home. I mean, we know who's doing the things. If you don't want to report it, and a lot of people don't like reporting it because they don't want their name to be addressed to it, thinking of it coming back on them. So a lot of crime goes unpunished. And then when reporting it, a lot of it just it gets blindsided. So I think it starts in your community, addressing the issues, reporting things, even if it's family. And it's hard to do stuff like that, but if we don't start doing it, it's just going to keep happening, and it's going to keep being a cycle. And then more police presence. Like, there's none in Keller. I never see police presence. And that really bothers me too. I've got a lot of grandkids in the community. I've got my adult kids, and reckless driving or drinking and driving, cars going really fast on the flats. Those are things that really scare me. And it's not even just at nighttime, it's during the day and the early morning. I think we need more police presence in our community.
Thank you both for your responses. And I'm going to pass it to Carmen to ask you the next question. Thank you.
Faith, I would like you to answer first. What are your views on expanding infrastructure and transport access?
You cut out there. Can you repeat that?
What are your views on expanding infrastructure and transport access? Transportation access, I mean.
Okay. I think that we need to start fixing the things that we already have right now. There's a lot of stuff at home that need to be already fixed without expanding. Starting with our casinos that are already we already have. They need repairs. Our stores need repairs. We need to work on fixing those things before we start doing any kind.
Are you done? We cannot hear you, Faith.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Wait, we cannot hear you again.
My service I don't know what's going on with my service. It keeps going in and out.
We can hear you now.
Okay, yes.
Patrick, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
What are your views on expanding infrastructure and transportation access?
Expanding infrastructure and transportation access.
Yes.
Well, so in our community, we're really lacking infrastructure. We have Ferry County PUD, which, in my personal opinion, does a good job for me. When I get an outage, they're right on it, but we're kind of expensive. What the tribe is doing is we are looking at our own tribal utility. We formed our tribal utility years ago, but we are in the process right now of vetting and looking at the 5 utility districts that are on the reservation. So we got Vista, Omak County PUD, Cooley Dam, Nispila Valley Electric, Ferry County PUD. And we're looking at which, I guess I shouldn't go too much into that. I would say we're looking at it, and we're assessing our options on how we deal with those, because we pay some of the highest rates on electricity well, definitely in the country or in the state. I don't know about the nation. Our transportation system, as we all know in Keller, is deplorable. If you've ever traveled Silver Creek or Manila Creek, and Cache Creek is actually not looking great lately. The Ferry County side anyway. But how we're dealing with that is we're working with the counties. Ferry County is the poorest county in the state, so that they're backing funds as well. But we're working with them on prioritizing more road systems on the reservation, because if you go up into Republic and over Kettle Falls, Curlew, you go anywhere up in the northern portion, and the roads aren't that bad. They're pretty, well, a lot better than ours in here. And we also in Keller, we don't have a sewer system. We've looked at different. I'm out of time.
Okay, thank you both. I will be giving it back to Jocelyn for the next question.
Okay, so Patrick, we'll start with you. How will you support economic development and job creation within the community?
Yeah, so that's my passion. That's what I love. I love economic development. I'm all about creating jobs. In Keller, it's really tough. It's been tough the last couple of years for the simple fact that it takes money to make money, and Keller's not getting any money. We haven't for a while. We got the boat launch built, and we got the treatment center built, and after that, the other districts just are waiting in line. So we have a list of projects right now that are in line and they're being built. We got the Omak Clinic going up right now. We got the Spelum Longhouse and then the Inchland and Omak senior mill sites. And those are all in the hopper, and hopefully those get funded and get built so that, we can come back up. But like I said, it takes money to make money. One of the things that I want to accomplish in Keller first is EMS station. It's not really going to make us a lot of money. It's not really economic development, but it's going to cost money, and it's going to benefit the community a lot. But on the economic development side, after we get an EMS station, I want to, and we're also working on the housing. So hopefully we get to move more people in. That's our biggest limiting factor on population growth is places to live. But some more resale, and we need a restaurant. We don't have a restaurant anywhere. I wanted to get the Pines up and running. That's been a lot more challenging than I hoped. It's pretty bad shape. We're probably just gonna have to demolish it and start over. Tanks need to be inspected, and I'm not hopeful that all the fuel is going to be working right. But somewhere just to sit down and eat and watch the Zags games would be real nice.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, so Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. How will you support economic development and job creation within the community?
I am a strong believer with grants. I search for grants all the time for what I do. I'm a grant writer. There's lots of grants out there. And what I'm doing right now, we just got done doing a birth doula training for women in the community to become birth workers. It was a big dream of mine, and they're able to get paid through Medicaid now. So it's creating careers. We're going to be holding another one in a few months for another 12 women. And then, I'm also, and EMS is a big thing for me also. I had heart issues and having to wait an hour and a half, life or death situations. It's a really big deal. I've talked to people in the community. There's a lot of people that are willing to go to the training and be volunteer firefighters. And then there's a couple people in the community that have wanted to do the EMS also. And there's grants out there. There's money out there. It's just getting in there and getting them.
Thank you. Okay, so I have one more question, and I'll start with you, Faith, since you're already here. What is your long-term vision for our district and tribe as a whole?
In a perfect world, it would be self-sustainability. It's having a community garden. It's having the community being able to have good food. I love our Keller store, but sometimes prices get crazy. A lot of times families go without fresh produce. I'm thankful that our second harvest is there for our community, but um, what would be there's nothing better than having the community have a garden and get together and be able to be self-sustainable in that. That's really important to me, and just community involvement is a really big thing. I think that we have such a beautiful community, and we're such a small community. More community events, and just talking to each other about what we want and what we need for our communities. um, I'm just super proud of the youth stepping up and doing what you guys are doing right now, because that's so important. Um, because that makes great leaders. I'm a huge advocate for our water. I definitely want to be more involved in decision making when it comes to the Columbia River, because that's our blood. That's where our salmon are. That's where our people canoe. It's sacred. It needs to be protected. Same with our plants and our berries, and working with other nonprofits is really big. I mean, it really helps build those relationships to help um, with things that the tribe really doesn't really have too much invested in. Um, I think it's really cool.
Thank you, Faith. Okay, Patrick, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
So, what is your long-term vision for our district and our tribe as a whole?
So my long-term vision for our district would be to try and keep it as Keller as possible. We're a very tight, close-knit, pretty clannish peoples, and uh, I'd like it to have a more local economy, a diverse local economy, so we could, we don't have to travel so far to get what we need. I think Faith said something that was really good. We need food. I'm not a gardener, but I would love to have a community garden. I'd come in every week and weed. I'm not good at doing it every day, but just a diverse, and for the entire reservation, a diverse local economy. We need to keep our money within the reservation. We have no big outlets, no retail, so we can't take advantage of a lot of the tax situations that we have as Indian peoples. Whenever we go Christmas shopping, we go to Spokane or we go to Seattle or we go to Wenatchee, and that money leaves the reservation. We have to pay taxes on it, and it doesn't benefit us. So we need car dealerships on the reservation. I would like to see a Costco or a Sam's Club, something that we can buy actual stuff on the res and take advantage of that. We need to get into other lines of business. Right now, we rely too much on our casinos, which is fine and dandy, but those are, to me, not real. It's not real business. It's kind of fake. And at any point, it can get taken away from us. The state could legalize.
Thank you. Okay, so our questions have come to a close. We do have one more thing before we go, so I'm going to pass it on to Carmen. Thank you both.
Okay, now it's time for closing remarks. You each have 2 minutes to say what your top priorities would be if you are elected. How would you plan to achieve them? And Patrick, will you please go first?
My top priorities are going to be getting through the rest of the council's capital project, so I can get in line and get something done. And first thing that I'm going to get done in the short term, utilizing one of the professional houses that was built for the treatment center as housing for EMS staff, and just putting up like a little two bay shop for house an ambulance and a fire station. That's probably gonna have to wait until the next fiscal year, next budget cycle. That's gonna, even that's gonna take a substantial commitment by the council that they weren't willing to do this year, or we weren't willing to do. I have to put myself in there. Could you repeat that question? I got off on a tangent.
What would your top
Can you
priorities
repeat the
be?
question?
What would your top priorities be if you were elected? How would you plan to achieve them?
Okay. So on the EMS station, we're going to look at financing through Key Bank or whatever bank will allow it. The other thing we're looking at is housing, and we're going through the 184 process right now. Working with the Cedar Fund also on they're doing their own thing, but we're hoping that we can leverage some of that nonprofit to get some housing going. I don't know what else I'm doing. I drew a blank. It's getting hot in here. Is this my closing argument or my closing statement?
Yes.
Okay, so I got a couple seconds. I really want to thank you guys for allowing us to attend by Zoom. It was really tough to plan around everybody's schedule, so I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Faith, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I think I got it. The things that I would work on first in our community would be the EMS. That's a big priority for me. Also with the Head Start, the school buses are old. They're always having a lot of time they don't have school because the bus is always broke down or lines are being cut. So making sure that the Head Start's taken care of because those littles deserve that. Also, I missed your last question on when we were talking about transportation. Yes, the roads are horrible. We've ruined some tires on those roads. So it's building partnerships up there with Ferry County and figuring out how we can get those roads fixed because nobody likes that. And like I said, where do we find it? It's fun. It's grant finding. There's so much money out there that's not being utilized. I'm on like 6 or 7 different registries for grants, for looking for grants all the time. And not only for my line of work, but for other people's, I always send them grant ideas for them to go after. But those are my priorities, and also getting more stuff for the youth. Like I said, getting possibly like a canoe house being built so we could start working on canoes so the kids can start being more involved in cultural aspects. And also having culture classes there, whether it be like regalia making, learning how to dance. All those things are super important. And a lot of times the community center isn't accessible because of funerals or other things that are going on. And then also getting the community center fixed up. I mean, it's really sad. It has a leaking ceiling, and when we hold events there, it doesn't seem very safe. So it's just all finding the funding for that.
Okay, thank you both.
Oh, also, thank you for the invite, and good luck, Pat.
I will be giving it back to Jocelyn.
Okay, so our debate election has come to a close. I just wanted to thank you all for participating, and I wanted to acknowledge the courage that it takes to step up into this position. We as youth really look up to leaders in our tribal communities, and I just wanted to wish you guys all good luck and thank you for engaging with us. And thank you and safe travels.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.